for what's going on mostly. We have our spring break, and that was much needed. And I think that's the best weather we've had all year was over that. And then we've had a lot of testing this past week. So we have our 10th graders did the ISAT testing, and they finished math this week. And then all of the juniors did the SATs, and those went better than expected. They did excellent during those. Our seniors presented their senior projects this last week, and the community members that judged them said that they did very well and they're super impressed. We also had several junior girls participate in the Distinguished Young Women's this weekend, and they did a wonderful job, every one of them. And Claire Newbar, she won, and so we're very impressed and proud of her. This weekend is also prom at the Best Western, and our student council has worked super hard on putting that together, and we're super excited for it. And our seniors also have a promenade at Minidoka, and this will be in the auditorium at 7. If any of you would like to come, you're more than welcome to. We are also looking forward to all of our upcoming events, and we have our Teacher Appreciation Week, and this is May 2nd to the 5th, and along with that, we have our Spring Fling Week that our student body has worked super hard on putting together, and we're really excited about, and that will be held May 2nd through the 5th as well over Teacher Appreciation Week. So that is all I have for you guys tonight. So any questions? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ms. Gates. Mountain Harrison has 3 young people who are going to give us some information about their latest activities.
3 young and 1 old.
3 young, okay, yeah. I'm not calling anybody old. I refuse.
Okay. You can use it with this one over here. Oh, okay.
If you just set it right on the counter.
Okay. So I'm taking the place of 3 students that are out with the stomach flu. So we had the awesome opportunity to. Oh, I'm Amber. We had the awesome opportunity to go to the ISU Tech Fair, and it was an amazing trip because our entire school got to go. So part of it was funded by Gear Up, and part of it was funded through other sources. So the whole school went. They got to go to the tech fair. They got the buffet lunch and got the whole, to walk around the campus and stuff. So it was really fun. And then we had a couple of students that won some pretty cool prizes there. So it was really a neat opportunity for them. And then you guys go ahead.
Okay. We had Spring Fling Week. We dressed up the whole week. We had a hat day. We had Hero Day, College and Career Day, tie-dye, and flowers. We had a dance on Thursday. Everyone that participated in the dress-ups got a ticket that went into a drawing. After the dance, we drew tickets and handed out prizes to the people that got drawn.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Lexi.
So
Tell us your name.
my name's Kiera. We had SATs ISATs and SATs on the same day. It took a half a day from lunch to like 3 o'clock, I think. We got snacks and we got to go on breaks because it was a long time. And we divided into classes.
No, I think she's talking quieter because she has the mic in front of her now.
Time I've ever told her to talk loud.
We did reading, writing, and math,
Thank you.
and it was all done in the same day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we had Hope Week, and every day of the week, Hope Squad passed around candy and gave us inspirational quotes. And on Thursday, they had a game day with a bunch of games, and every time you played a game, you won a ticket, and they handed out prizes for those tickets.
Cool. So yes, tell us your name.
Chesney.
I'm
Okay, and the last one is our upcoming stuff. So we have 23 days left in the school year, but who's counting? 19 for graduates. So, and we have our student-led conferences coming up next week on the 28th. So we are already halfway done with the quarter. So, thank you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate your report. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Trankel, are you going to do the announcing here, or what are we doing?
As far as the teams go, you know why they're here.
I heard a rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about sports and doing well, other things.
Which one is it?
The little one works best.
So you can hear me?
Bi-directional,
good.
yeah.
Well, first, I know we don't have a lot of time. I really don't need the microphone, by the way. So I want to go ahead and bring our dance team up here, please, with their coaches, Sandy and Luz. Our dance team is the 2022 District 4 champs, and those of y'all that don't know, District 4, it's basically our conference. Amongst some other schools in dance. So you have some 3As and 2As in there too, correct? And so they won the district to qualify for state and went and represented us very well. So I'm going to let Sandy just introduce each one of them because you got everybody here, didn't you? Yeah, we got the whole team here. So Miss Sandy Nelson, she's been the coach here for how long, Sandy?
28 years.
28 years. So this is a pretty big deal. These girls worked really hard since August.
Yes.
Since early August. So I'm going to let her introduce each one.
This is the first time in.
Well, we started district competition in 2011. We've always done well in hip hop. That's our thing. We didn't compete in the other categories because dance kicked. It was foreign to us. And we decided we're going to stretch our abilities here. And it was a stretch. And so to do as well as we did was absolutely amazing. We have a wonderful group of girls, some great parents, and Luz and I couldn't be prouder, and I hope you're proud. We would go to competitions, and it was usually like, oh, there's Minico, aren't they cute? They're great hip hop. Every competition we went to this year, people said, oh, we've heard about Minico, and I thought, heard what? What, is it bad? And so we did really well, and I want you to know that we placed overall 6th in the state out of 14 schools, so I think that's pretty notable as well.
Nice.
So I'm going to have the girls just say their names really quickly, okay? And this is Luz. This young woman is amazing. She's the other coach and could not do a thing without her.
My name's Brianna Liam. My name's Gabriela Guzman.
I'm Hannah Shaw.
I'm Aaliyah Castro.
I'm Chantel Huerta. I'm Joanna Paz.
I'm Anaí Reyes.
I'm Caitlin Dalton.
I'm Gabriela Ramirez.
I'm Elizabeth Martinez. I'm Gloria Nelly Villagrana.
And I'm Malia Matters.
Congratulations, girls.
And they do perform at every basketball home game, so that they get to work on a lot of stuff there. So we're very fortunate to have them. Very fortunate. Yeah, there you go. There you go. If I have the coaches, wrestling coaches, and the wrestlers that can make it here, come up right now, please. So we could obviously get all the wrestlers here. If we got the whole wrestling team, we would have to get a whole other building because there's so many of them. Because we're very fortunate to be extremely strong in numbers in that. But just to give a little background, not only did they win the state title this year, district champs, they won multiple tournaments through the year. They had 26 qualify for state. 17 of those 26 placed, which tells you how we won the state title, which was extremely impressive. A lot of underclassmen. I've already been told be prepared for 3 more in a row, state titles. No pressure on the coaches, but they're the ones that told me. But we had 3 individual state champions, Lita Cruz, Luke Arthur, which this is Luke holding the state championship trophy, which actually has all 26. They qualified for state names engraved in it. And then Garrett Bell. which is extremely impressive. And I'm kind of let these 6 kind of say their name, who they're here, and where they placed. Obviously, Luke, state champ, say it.
My name's Luke Arthur. Preston Cranny, 4th place.
Jost Terry, 3rd place. Cooper Stimson, 5th.
Jose Contreras, 5th place. Brody Otley, 4th place.
And a few other cool things. So, Minico led the charge to get girls wrestling sanctioned. And we led the charge for a reason because it is the fastest growing sport in the United States. We know where we're at. We see it in Idaho. We see it come up. Mr. Rick Stimson, which I know y'all know, did a phenomenal job first year. We had the first female state title in the history of it in Lita Cruz, who couldn't make it tonight. So that is a big deal. That is extreme. It will always go down as having the first female state champ in the history of it in Idaho. So Minico gets locked in at something else. And once again, it's wrestling, so I'm hoping boys basketball can catch eventually. Okay. But I thought Rick and Clay did a phenomenal job. And there's one thing Clay's not going to be happy with me about. Clay doesn't like to stand out in any way. And he's been dodging this with me. But Clay was Coach of the Year for 4A, presented to him by the Idaho State Coaches Association. He didn't like it when he got it because he knows it's the kids. I am extremely happy because me and Mrs. Kidd helped hire him, so it makes us look really good. Him and Rick do so much for these kids in wrestling, so much. I mean, they got them nonstop moving. We have kids literally as we speak in the wrestling room right now. And this state title, this award is a credit to everything that they have instilled in this program. And obviously we know it goes back way before them, but to keep it going is difficult. And to get it to the level they got it and expectations right now, we are extremely happy at the high school. And I just want to let them know we appreciate it. This is Clay right here. He's the state coach of the year. I like to embarrass him because Clay does not like this stuff. He argued with me on the phone about just coming to my office to get it. So, your fault.
On behalf of the wrestling team, I just want to say to the board, to the superintendent, and to the administration and patrons, thank you for your support. With the caliber of kids that we have in the program and the support that we have at Minico, it's very easy to coach. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Okay. I would request that the athletes and everybody stay for just a little bit. I think we still have FFA to go, am I not mistaken? Because typically there's a tradition, you come shake our hands and we get to congratulate you. But I want to save that we just want everybody to come at the end if we could, please. I heard a rumor about FFA doing really well as well.
All right, you guys, I don't need this as well either. So I am Lexi Evans, and Rick Stimson is here with us. Miss Stableman wishes she was here, but she was 8 hours of planting carrots today, so I told her to go ice up and take a good warm shower so she can be ready for tomorrow. But I've got an awesome group of students up here. I'm going to let EDP Peyton take control right off the bat.
Thank you. So I'm Edie Payton, and I'm a junior, and we all have received our state degrees, and that's the second highest award you can get in FFA. So I really want to thank the school board for letting us do that and attend everything we have been in the past week. We've been busy going on carrot field trips, national convention last October and November, and it's so much fun, and we love getting to have this opportunity, and it's all thanks to you guys for letting us go on all these trips. So thank you.
All right. Do you gentlemen want to say anything? Okay. While we were also up at state convention just a few weeks ago, we have two of our agribusiness competitors here. We competed in our floral competitions, livestock judging, and then we also had Miss Edie Payton and Clay Stapleman participated in the Proficiency Awards. Clay Stapleman was awarded a $2,000 scholarship on his Dairy Heifers program, so that was fantastic. We also wanted to say thank you. Ms. Stapleman stressed how grateful we are for your guys' support for the a massive amount of field trips and experiences you guys allow us to give our students. Going back in October when we went to national convention with 25 of these kids to celebrate our number one Miss Mackenzie Walton. She got her American degree. Less than 1% of all FFA members get this degree. It is a phenomenal accomplishment for her. So we wanted to, she couldn't be here tonight. She is enjoying the graduated and engaged life right now, so she's a little busy. But above all, we appreciate your support in FFA and in our growing ag program. Just a little plug, our greenhouse sale is coming up. The kids have been working extremely hard. That opens on May 5th, and we just want to say thank you. Oh, and our banquet also. That is next Wednesday. It's the 26th. They're in the multi-gym at 6 p.m. That is where we award and we recognize all of our state, our chapter degrees, as well as our green hand degrees. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, bless you, bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so.
Hey, young man, we met on Friday. Well, thank you. Hey, young lady. Friday.
Congratulations.
See you again.
Nice job.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being my in-law. Thank you.
Hey, good job.
Okay, I'll say
All right. You weren't out yet? We're going to work you to death. I'm done. Congratulations, young lady. Thank you. Ladies, congratulations.
Good job.
Hey, good job. Hey, good job.
Congratulations.
So how many seniors are we losing?
Congratulations.
That's good, right? Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Excellent job, sir.
Where? What did you get? Nationals, and that needed to be announced. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
Good job. Good job.
Good job, sir.
Congratulations. So that was the oldest hand so far. Congratulations.
I think you needed to announce his
I
second
need to
place.
surround myself with VIPs like you. I'm going to
Hey, nice work.
Thank you, ma'am. Great job.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great job, young lady.
Thank you.
Hey, that's awesome.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Oh, I'm going to
I'll trade you. Johnny
Absolutely.
jumps up.
You can have all of that.
Ooh, like.
Not a
I
great
was gonna say, Johnny jumped up, Blue Pine. I love both of them.
Good.
Are you sure you don't want him? Lawanta doesn't want him?
She's got shrubs. I don't do well with flowers because we're gone too much.
All right. Again, we thank everybody for coming from Minico to give us that report. We thank you very much. Melissa Clark, Hayburn Elementary Library, is going to give us some good news as well. So please come up. We look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Well, I'm just sorry that I had to follow such amazing news. I mean, gosh, I only have an invitation for you. So I have to tell you, as the librarian at Hayburn Elementary, I am so proud. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
I'm trying not to, but I am so proud of our fifth graders. Our fifth graders have worked tremendously hard. We are putting on a live wax museum. And they have worked, and they are so excited. And they're coming up to me every day and they're saying, Mrs. Clark, I got my costume. Mrs. Clark, I have my poster ready. And they are just elated. And they'll come to me and they'll say, how do I send that picture to you so you can print it off? And I go through and we print it off and we get it ready for them. And their posters are coming together. Costumes are coming together. They're super excited. And I just wanted to give each of you a ticket to our live wax museum. So
Wonderful.
it is May 12th, and it will run all day long from 8 o'clock, and then we'll take a break at 9:45, and then start again at 12 o'clock and run until 2:45 or 2:30. We will then come back at 5:30 and run until 7 o'clock that night. Now, my daughter's really mad at me because that's her birthday, and I said, well, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. And so we will just have to do it. But she's okay. She said she'll just go to Wood River and go to her boyfriend's house. And I went, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Oh, cute. Wonderful. That's
movie or a museum trip. We're coming out like some bandits.
okay. We took care of Minico then. We took care of the Hebron Elementary, and I would like to just make note of the Employees of the Year in 3 different categories. They were given their awards last week? Yeah,
I believe that's correct.
2 weeks ago. Anyway, it was really fun to go around and present these and to see their reactions. And the Teacher of the Year was Miss Stewart from Hebron. And our Certified of the Year was Miss Van Avery, Mr. Van Avery.
Emma.
Classified, I said that wrong. I apologize. Van Avery at West.
No.
East.
You wrote West. We went to East.
I did something at West that day. I apologize.
I'm dead. I'm just dead. And then Administrator of the Year was Ashley Johnson at the DSC. Yeah, if I got that one wrong, I would be in so much trouble. Thank you. Yeah, I don't even remember being there. That's really sad. I apologize. But it was really fun to do the Teacher of the Year. This is the first time I participated, and she was overcome with emotion, and it was really special to get to give her that award and just tell her what a wonderful job everyone thinks that she has done. And I want to say that for everybody, that they all are amazing. Otherwise, they wouldn't get that award, and we congratulate them. Were there any patron comments? Okay. Our discussion items. First one is the one-time bonus, of which we heard about at our work session. And did anyone have any? Did you want to say anything else in this meeting while we're doing this? Okay. Do you have anything you want to say? Since you just embarrassed me, I think you need to be embarrassed.
I want to recommend that we follow the same guidelines as the last incentive check.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions regarding any further discussion on this? Okay. All right. Then that was a quick discussion. Our next one is bus schedule issues. And we do know that this has been a year that has been difficult in some respects as far as trying to work everything out and get the bugs out of the system. And with one major concern rising before us with fuel prices, I do believe that we need to have a discussion about whether or not we continue trying to have a 2-route system in the afternoon with earlier release for elementary, and then the buses running again. We have heard from the transportation department that this has been difficult on not only the buses but the drivers. They gave us the statistic that there have already been 12 accidents this year, and we only had 2 all last year. And so I believe that this is something that we need to address and see what we want to do for next year and get some ideas from everybody. We do not have it tonight as a a business item, but we do want to have a discussion about what everyone is thinking so that we can start planning for next year. With the price of diesel, I just don't personally see how we can continue doing literally 3 routes a day. And I think we're going to have to come up with a decision here. And I know that we were sent a letter from Miss Jones from from the transportation department. They are grateful for the 4-day schedule because they have an extra day, but there's also concern about how tired the drivers are getting. It's a long time from the time they get on the bus to start picking up elementary till they deliver that last young person from the secondary schools. That's a long time, and they really have no time to even get off the bus to go to the bathroom. And so I think we need to look at several factors here. I know that there's concern about a longer day. Is that something that we do? Or continue at the long day? Maybe, anyway, we was either go back to 5 days a week or do something else. And so that was one option that they put out. Not really sure that at this point in time that changing up, it took too much to get to a 4-day, and so many people have indicated to us that they are really enjoying the 4-day week. We'll have to see how it all comes out in the end. But the other option is we do what we were doing before, and that is going to one route in the morning, one route in the afternoon. Everybody, basically what we were doing before. We went to the 4-day week. So there are several pieces on the floor that we need to look at and just discuss. And I would like to know your opinions.
Bonnie, question for you. Is the 2 routes after school, has that also been part of the cause of the issue of not having as much buses for after school events like athletics? Like I know we had some issues with that.
Shaking her head, yes.
Yes.
That's been part of the issue as well.
Yes.
So if we did have one route, whether it be 5 days or 4 days, we could get back to having buses for junior high sporting events or whatever it may be. Or it would be easier, at least.
It would be easier to a point, yes.
Okay.
Madam Chair, what are the implications of just going one bus route a day for each direction? We still keep the 4 days, or what's the issue there?
Well, when we went to the 4-day, there was a lot of discussion about having extra time built into the day, especially for because of the number of minutes needed for seat time and all in the high school, especially, which is one of the reasons why we decided to try the 2 routes in the afternoon.
Elementary didn't need to be in this long.
And elementaries aren't in this long.
By how much?
The elementaries are dismissed at 2:45, and it's about an hour, and the secondary are at 3:50, so an hour and 5 minutes longer to give them more seat time. It was suggested, what if we went a little longer? I don't know how that's going to go over very well, but
I think
that
your
was
sporting events would hurt there.
So elementary time cannot go shorter.
Right.
Elementary, their minimum.
Right.
Get their required time, they've got to go to at least 2:45.
Right.
Could we increase the elementary time and then just have the buses run once in the afternoon?
I did not mean longer. I meant longer school year. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
But not a longer day.
No, we're at max on.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We're already struggling with kids in the events after school.
Yeah.
Extracurriculars.
We went a longer day there.
No, that's not an option. I don't think.
We also can't go shorter unless we.
If we want to follow the state, are they guidelines or are they mandates for time? Idaho codes. Then we would really need to come up with a way to get more hours for the students.
So how many more days would we have to go then? If we made it so that we let everybody out at the same time.
It depends on the time we choose.
Yeah.
If we let out the same time
So
as
we
the high
let out
school,
the
then
same
nothing.
But I don't think.
Extra days, but it would be. To say that you could keep your elementary kids until 3:50. That's a pretty long day.
That's a really long day for them.
They're
That's a
starting
long day.
at 7. 7:40, but some of them
The buses are there at 7:10.
7:15.
7:10 at Osceola Elementary. They're there.
Yeah.
We are starting school at 7:40. Everyone is in their seats at 7:45. So those kids at the elementary, or at least at Osceola, because we're the first drop off and the last pickup, that is a long day. And I just think that, I don't know, it's a long day, but it's a packed day. We don't have any of that cushion of a day.
The other option, if you don't like long days, is you shorten the day and
And
add
go 5
days
days.
to your calendar.
That's what
Those are the two choices that we have to decide.
Hey, Ashley, I don't remember off the top of my head. You probably do. Of our survey, what as far as the shorter days versus calendar, do you remember those stats?
I don't off the top of my head. I know the survey people.
I mean, not to put you on the spot, but to put you on the spot.
They like the 4 days, like overall. And you're asking like parents.
I think it was overall 4 days was the go-to between parents and teachers or administration or.
How hard would it be to route it so that we dropped off at the high school and junior highs first, elementaries last, and then picked up from the elementaries first? Because that would, you'd have a little bit of time window as far as travel associated with that. I mean, it becomes a routing issue at that point, but that might be something we can play with a little bit.
Can I take that question?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. I'm Pauline, I'm from transportation. The bad thing about that is Minico, we can barely fit our buses in there now, and then you want all of our buses going into Minico to drop off. I don't think I can get 25 buses in Minico safely in and out of Minico to drop all of those kids off.
Then you're driving past the elementaries.
Right, to go
Yeah.
to the high school.
Turn around and go back.
We're still using less diesel that way, though, than running 2 routes in the afternoon, I would think, even though you're passing by the school. But I understand the danger point as far as trying to get so many buses into Minico and then to east and west. Okay.
Another, Madam Chair, is with the price of diesel as it is, doing this 3 routes 4 days a week is $69,000 more than you spent last year.
Right.
Give me that number again.
69,000.
And that's right now.
That's comparing this year's diesel cost with last year's diesel cost. Now that's due to increase in price, but it's also due to increase in trips.
Yep.
Because last year you made 10 total bus routes a week. Now you're making 12 total bus routes a week.
Well,
Okay, I have it. So there's a couple pieces. So we asked the question, the length of the day for my child attending elementary school. 49% said it's just right. 9%, okay, and there were 1,100 people completed the survey.
Wow.
9% was too short, 8% were too long. For secondary, 35% said that the length of the day for secondary students was just right. 24% said it's too long. On which would you prefer, 71% would prefer longer days and shorter school year. 29% would prefer shorter days and a longer school year.
That's
But
what
I think you also have to, like, it would almost need to be asked again, putting the elementary student in specific.
Yes.
Like, you want them to go a shorter day with, a longer school year.
Yeah, thanks for looking that up.
So there was.
And can I share one more?
Sure.
So the next question was, what was most important to you in regards to the school calendar? And 25%, which is my biggest percent, was the length of the school day.
Was the what?
The length of the school day.
The length of the school day.
Yeah.
So the other answers were all obviously different. If 25%
Yeah,
was.
so 18%, the most important was the length of the school year. 24% was a 2-week Christmas break. 22% was finished before Memorial Day, and 12% was start after Labor Day.
Okay. So normally this is not a patron comment time, but I will allow a question.
Okay, just find out a little in the morning schedule, like the bus, is it, because my big concern is the length of the school day from a child development standpoint, that whether parents like it or not, it's not healthy for the kids. And if we're gonna talk about doing the rerouting so that the elementary starts later, the kids are still on the bus, so it's still a long way from it anyway. So I don't feel like that really solves anything.
The kids would be on the bus actually an hour and a half from what they are now. They're on a bus basically about an hour.
The elementary?
Elementary, yeah.
Okay.
So they would be on a bus longer. The elementary development kids would be on buses longer if we did it backwards. With the taking the high school first, then the junior high, then the elementary, because they all still get picked up at the same time.
Right.
So, and I have talked to some of the parents. I know a lot of the parents that have the little kids. I'll be honest with you, they're all taking them to school because they want that extra hour of sleep versus getting the kids on buses that early.
Do they then turn around and pick them up, or do the kids ride home on the bus? They do ride the bus home.
They do ride the buses home.
So that is our conundrum. I think that a lot of it is cost. We cannot, like Ms. DeLuna pointed out, the state is not allocating more money for us, in spite of the fact that diesel has gone up. That's still something that we're just going to have to deal with. So we're going to have to deal with it as efficiently as we can.
Well, and
exactly. Yeah.
And Madam Chair, if I think the 69,000 that Mr. Ramsey just talked about is not even a true number. If we think about the fact that West Minico, at least I know, has had to hire A to B motor coach to get their athletics, we really need to add that into the equation as well. That
our A to B busing has been considerably higher, I think, than
and so I think that's another part of the economics of it
because of this configuration.
Also, as well as the probably the extra maintenance, wear and tear, from the extra miles, depreciation on the buses. It's hard to put a number on it, but it's figures in there somewhere.
How many buses do you have down right now?
We have 8 down, and it's basically because of the DEF.
Oh, really?
It is. We have 4 buses right now with the DEF head. I'll be honest with you, I didn't understand what they were talking about, so I Googled it. So, I didn't know. I'll be honest with you, I didn't know. And so it is a theme, and we have a lot of buses down with that. All of our lights, Carrie can contest to that. Her bus went down, and all of the lights were going like with leave, and took it over, and it was the DEF.
So let me ask a question.
That is the white juice they use on the
diesel exhaust fluid.
Okay. Madam Chair, I'm making a recommendation to buy gas buses.
That was just the question I was going to ask. What if we started and headed back to gas buses instead of diesel? Would that help with our problem?
Our next bid is going to be for 3 new gas buses. That's what we're bidding for.
Okay. Because that would eliminate gelling of diesel problems as well as the DEF and the cost.
I don't know how long the buses will last in comparison to diesel buses last longer, but the overall, we're hoping maybe we put the gas buses in a town, maybe the town
routes and
shorter
routes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you say that bid was for electric buses?
No.
No.
Gas.
That's what you thought you said, but then you're saying this.
The day we buy an electric bus, I will not be on the board.
I'm attending a webinar Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Somebody still has to charge them, and where does the electricity come from?
Well, who's your electric company here, Rupert?
City of Rupert, but they buy it from Bonneville Power. Idaho Power, which buys it from Bonneville Power.
The webinar people are saying that the feds are spending billions of dollars pushing electric.
I know they are.
If you can get a free bus out of the deal, I would recommend you do that. And if it falls apart, just park it in a ditch and go back to the gasoline.
No, then Mrs. Kid can turn this into a
Well, after I heard the story of someone who had an all-electric car and was driving from Boise, and it was fully charged when they left Boise, it was cold. They were driving into a headwind, and they didn't make it past Glenn's Ferry before it died. Something has to be done.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
How's the bus lodge or an idea? Can we ask
Okay. Are you amenable with the idea of gas buses? And also what do you think is our solution?
I think the gas buses are going to be a lot better, in my opinion. I visited with Michelle, sorry, over the overall of the buses. I know this last year we've had a lot of jail buses. And when I'm sitting out in Minidoka and I have a jail bus, I've got kids on a bus, my mechanics are out that way because we have a jail bus out that way. It's too cold for these kids to be on buses that don't run. And so, for the safety of the kids, I think we will go with those three. Am I right? Three gas buses we're going to try.
Are they going to be 82 passenger, or what size are they going to be?
They're going to be a 71 passenger.
71.
Full size buses.
They're going to be a conventional bus. They're not going to be a snub nose or the flat nose. They'll be conventionals.
Okay. All right. And what is your recommendation for 2 routes or what? Or do you want to go out on a limb right now?
My only concern, if we go back to 2 routes, is our employees. Because, they have insurance, they have all, just want to make sure they're not hurt any harm in that aspect. That would be one of my concerns with that. And if we go the same schedule that we're going, I just need a little bit more time in between so the drivers can get off their buses, go in, go to the restroom. I have an older fleet, we say, and we're all that age. So, and I'm taking that for myself. That's me. So, I've been on buses plenty of times this year, and I can attest to that. So, my recommendation is whatever the school board and the administrators would like to do. I just know if we go back to one time pickup this year, it's going to be a challenge, especially for Mrs. Hepworth's school and Haver.
Yeah.
So, you're fine.
I've talked to 3 different teachers all.
Can you speak just a wee bit louder, please?
I've talked to 3 different teachers at Paul, and all of them said, "Why don't we just keep them another hour? What's another hour difference?" I'm just throwing it out.
Okay, so with that thought in mind,
I have a question.
sir.
So, you said you need more break time between the route. How much more time would you consider more time before they went back out on the route?
Well, we're right now barely making it to our secondary schools and our high schools. And we are pushing it to the max to where, like I said, we've had 12 accidents this year.
So how much
That's
time?
way too much. I would say 15 minutes, at least. When we used to do the 1 o'clock dismissal for the elementary on Fridays when we had our school on Friday, we had a 1 o'clock dismissal and we were back to the school by 3 o'clock to pick up the secondary and the high school. So you can tell what the break needs to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I know that would be
and my children. So even if we get out, there's going to be kids still left at the schools.
That's kind of like what we had.
So,
maybe come up
So
with
we're going to take that transfer back to the elementary schools, which is going to cause,
go out to
instead of getting that extra crap, those teachers are going to have kids. Not all their kids are part of
Miss
kids.
Johnson and Miss
Part of selling them to start
Leckenby
at
have that
7.
template.
20
We
in
can
the
punch in
morning.
the numbers
Actually, they're coming at
that tell us
7:15
how
every
many
day.
days have to be added to the
They're
calendar
done at 2:45
to meet the
and have to have
probably
their
have to
school.
hit somewhere
But
in
a
that
daily
solution.
It's there for
And
another
adding
hour.
to the calendar would help give the drivers the money that they would miss by not doing that long day. That's one of her points.
They're also getting the settlers insurance, so that can offset.
Yeah, I mean, we just keep expanding it. I used to come to school at 7:40 every day when I first started.
Luna figured that into
Right, but
Where's the
has
break
that word
between?
gotten out? Okay.
I'm
Mrs. Stetson,
Yes, ma'am.
can you, do you know how many kids you had there when we did our 1 o'clock dismissal? I don't remember how many kids you had at your school at 1 o'clock dismissal. At Christmas time, when we did our 1 o'clock dismissal.
Well, I have 543, 549, so, I mean, I don't know.
No, when we did our 1 o'clock dismissal in December, how many
Oh.
kids did you have left over?
All of them. I don't know.
How many for me? You had your whole group. You had all your kids.
Yeah. I don't know how many ended up staying. There was.
So
Okay, so do we need to have a discussion or a request for another survey, or what do you guys? What is the pleasure of the board here? Do we need? Obviously, we need more information.
Well, my question, I guess, is to the administrators. If we only do 2 routes a day, I mean, if we tried to hit some sort of happy medium of letting all the kids out at 3:30 between all the schools, or an arbitrary time, how many days would that extend? Would that be a worthwhile offset? What's your thoughts?
We have Fridays. Go back to 5 days. 2 days.
You have a lot of people that have already taken another job on Friday.
Well, and I, so far the feedback I've received from the 4-day week has been very positive. I don't know if that's isolated in just my case or not, but the patrons that have talked to me have been pretty happy with the 4-day week. And that's kind of what, wasn't the survey, wasn't it about 80-20 on the 4-day versus the 5?
Yes. You need to look at how much if we got out a little bit earlier, what days that would have to happen. I think that's gonna be the best. So what questions do you want?
Well, I'm not sure if it's a survey that we really need to do, or if we just need to gather some more data, like as in if we did something.
Yeah, if we picked a time, how many days would that add? And then perhaps, in my thoughts, do a survey and say we can either do this or we can, give them some choices.
Yeah, give them choices. Which do you prefer?
Given the transportation situation and
Get out at 3:15, it's gonna add 4 days, or if we get out at 3:30, it's gonna add 2 days. Which would you rather do? So what time releases do you want calculated?
What's your thoughts as administrators?
What was it before last year?
3:10, 3:15. It was later.
Isiko was later. Haven was later.
Was at 8:05 or Carrybell was 8:10, and we're out at 3:10.
So the other point earlier, we're not talking about the morning, we're just talking about the afternoon.
Yes, we're only talking right now is adjusting that.
So I would say like 3:30.
And
Yeah,
time.
the number that popped in my head just off the bat was like 3:30.
Yeah, 3:30.
So it's not a ton shorter, but it's some. I don't know.
Mr. Sukan, maybe go 15 minutes on both sides.
15 minutes on both
That's what they were
sides.
saying. How many days would we have to add
Okay.
if we did that?
Any other time you want me to calculate
Did
besides?
you hear Mr. Ramsey's 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after school?
3:15, 3:30, 3:45, and let's quit looking.
Well, we're already doing 3:45.
3:45, we know what we would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're there. So.
Colleen?
My concern with that is if we go to 3:45, I don't know if, our buses are getting, if we do the one-time thing, back to the sports at West Minico, we would be getting back into probably 4:30. So, I have some buses that we could probably pull off to do some of sports at 4:30 in the morning, afternoon, but that is something that we might need to address if we plan on working until 3:30.
Okay.
What time would we have to get out to make that work?
kids leave. The middle schools particularly leave. Their contests are at 4 or 5 o'clock.
Yeah, they normally at 4:30 is when they normally are, so they have to leave at
They're
2:30.
I think you'd have to let them out so early that it would.
No.
You drive mini buses. Coaches drive mini buses, or coaches drive the bus.
That's what I'm saying. So it didn't really work before.
It's not any problem.
Yeah.
No, it's just that the coaches don't like to drive the buses.
I don't.
I agree.
As a person who's
But
coached a lot, I think it's an unfair ask of coaches. Their pay is almost voluntary, to be honest. It's a hard ask when you're trying to prep for a game or an activity, whatever it may be, and to be in that mindset, the liability that comes along with it. I myself, where I've coached, I'm completely opposed to putting that additional ask on the coaches. If they volunteer to do it, that's one thing, but that's a big ask. It's a huge ask.
The other side is we don't have drivers. A and B is going to make a pile of money off of our extracurricular.
Yeah.
Other side of that
and
too.
other side of
Why
that,
can't the
coaches need to
tell
ride
you
the
that
buses
if
home.
the coach drives, it's $1 a mile.
I think a lot of them
If
do.
we
No.
drive, it's
I bet it's not.
$3.68 a mile right now.
And A to B just added a fuel surcharge on our last bill.
You have to incentivize the coaches to drive. You got to put money into their program or something.
Yeah.
So there's less fundraisers or whatever it might be. That's the only way you're gonna get coaches to drive. So incentivize them driving. Instead of paying the district or getting that money from the state or wherever that money comes from, pay to the teams or whatever it is instead of to your bus driver. You pay to your sports team. But even then, there'll be some.
Yeah.
So we'll come to you with two options and then we'll make a decision.
I agree. If there's an option out there, then that's one thing. But for it to be an expectation, I think that's a very difficult ask of these coaches that already dedicate so much time to these programs, and then we're asking them to take that additional step without incentivizing them. That's exactly right.
Are you raising your hand, Carrie?
Did you get the off-season coaches to trade and drive for the other coaches?
There's an incentive.
I don't know.
Your ADs have told me they do not want their coaches driving,
Brady is very opposed to coaches.
which I disagree with, but that's the way I.
They give a choice.
If the coaches of that sport don't want to drive, but they need to be present for their game and stuff, could you get them to trade with each other, or you still saving on
This is a whole nother,
This is a whole nother issue.
yeah, this is a whole nother issue. And so basically,
So Bonnie, I guess I need you guys to zero in on a few things.
that's what I was just getting ready to do because it's already gone to a lot of areas.
Zero in on a couple?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that, as Mr. Ramsey, would you say again the two options that you would just said?
I'd ask Ms. Johnson to come to the board with two options on the calendar and time frames so that you can make an informed decision. We'll have the expense list of pros and cons, and then you can use your best judgment.
Okay. Is that amenable? Pardon me?
So next month you want this on the
Yes, we needed a on discussion. I don't know about action. We'll see.
So will we have the survey take place between now and next board meeting? Is that a possibility?
Survey done between now and
I
then.
thought it was a calendar.
Well, if you, so I can do the two different calendars, but then if you want to do a survey also of what people preference would be, I guess.
Of the two calendars?
Not a
What do
calendar.
you want?
Or release times.
Release times and added days.
Release times and added days. Yes.
Which
So
will
just-
affect the calendar. We would make the calendar later.
If we just go with one uniform release time across the board.
Okay.
Do the survey.
Okay.
So you want a survey. And the calendar. Like yours, I started to stick up. I'm sorry. So you want
Yes, it's starting to stick up. I can do this too. No.
I agree, but there's always at least one coach on this.
So I just know that we've got to look at start stop times, and we've got to look at what that does to the calendar.
A survey with start stop times there. They need to be.
And really quickly, I think I can do this without getting in trouble. When we approved personnel, one of the things that we approved was Miss Jones is our new transportation supervisor. So you know. So with that, I'm amenable. Anybody else?
Can I go to River at 10 o'clock at night, or I can.
No different. No
Yep, I know.
It is.
Go out.
It is because
I know.
So
I know.
coach is a coach.
Yep.
And that's what if we could somehow make those transfers more efficient, either with more buses or more drivers, that's where we would really pick up serious time. But if anybody has any good ideas on how to do that,
yeah,
we're all ears.
Yep.
One coach for football, one coach for basketball.
Okay.
So
we
added more money for bus drivers, so we actually had a net loss the first month. So
last 4 coaches.
That didn't make a difference.
All the time it takes to months, and then
we lost.
Yeah, it made a difference. The wrong way. That's what we need to say. So, okay.
I could never ask that. I couldn't.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. It was requested that we have some discussion about the condition of the gym floor at Minico. And we do know that it is literally on its last legs. And as far as fixing it, it's not in the supplemental levy right now. There's numerous issues that go into this whole idea. It was something that we had on the bond that didn't pass. And so we're still in a world of we have a list this long of things that need to be fixed. We have this much money. And so it's not something that we can just say we're going to throw the whatever it is, $350,000, $400,000 at to get a new floor. So it's just something that we have a lot of decisions to make in the next little while before we even think about running a bond. And I know that's one of the things that's on there is what are we going to do? Especially since we're grandfathered in now with the size of the gym because it is not regulation size basketball court length or width. And so that's another issue. How do we handle this? If we were to place a new floor on there, would we lose our grandfather? And would we be required then to make it a bigger, which means we would lose space for spectators and stuff? There's been talk about a different kind of building that would be like an event center. All of these ideas have been thrown out. We need to come down to a consensus, which is one of the reasons why the facilities committee is putting together what we are calling an ad hoc committee to come out with ideas of what we believe are the major things that need to happen before we and go on a bond so we can get this all put together differently than last time. So that's about the discussion right now. Mr. Van Ingry, you have your eyebrows raised. Do you have something to add?
I just said, yeah, we need to get that committee going now.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah. And
You heard me say that.
yeah, at our last PPA, we just had a PPA team, parent patron advisory team meeting last week. That was also discussed. We have a number of names that have been given out as potential members. We want 30 to 40 from the community of various industries and influence. So that's, if anybody knows anybody thinks that they would be really good on that committee, let us know. So although I would like to say, yes, we're going to do something about the floor right now, I just don't see how we can with the list this long and the money this big. Anybody have any other comments? Anything to add?
Madam Chair, I agree. We can't do anything right this minute, but I think it's something that's got to be on our short list because we could end up in a situation where someone puts a hole in that floor and then we can't even play.
Right.
And I think we talked about in our meeting too that currently the scheduling of that floor, just to keep it safe, we're limiting what can happen there. So I think it's something that needs to be put on a short list of maybe not this summer, but next summer we have some kind of plan in place. Just an idea.
Okay.
One comment that came up in our meeting was any idea of a sponsor-supported fix for the floor?
Parker Stadium.
Pardon me?
Well, I give you $10 for the floor.
It's not a bad idea.
Buy a board.
Yeah, we could all buy boards because I don't think they want tongue and
How big is
groove.
the floor?
Buy a board.
Honestly, there's a lot
40
of
by
money
90?
in the community.
There is. And all
It's
the
amazing.
industry.
Like we did a little thing. I mean, it's amazing how much it's like. We just generated that amount for some little tiny fundraiser.
Well,
There's
that's
a lot of money out there.
the problem is the levy money is all already spoken for.
Yes.
But then you have to go the other way of just who's willing to. There's a lot of people that are willing to donate. We know the situation. We know that you guys are working hard and there's money that needs to be. Honestly,
And it really does come down to what are we going to do because of the situation that we know the gym is not regulation size.
See, but I think if you took that back to parents and everybody in the school to say, look, let's come together as a community. What are we gonna do? Like,
Can we have sponsors? Like, I mean, could there be
You could,
sponsors
yeah.
named on the floor?
We could.
The problem is when they came in and fixed it, they told us you have 5 years,
And we're at 4.
and we are at 4. They told us then you have 5 years. That's it. They cannot sand it. They cannot do anything again.
Yep.
It is so incredibly thin.
Yeah.
And that is Brady's fear. Is exactly what Juan was saying. Is that someone's going to go through the floor.
So Matt,
Because it is. I mean, there's just nothing left of it. That floor was put in there
In 1955.
1955, and it was replaced in 70s. Yes.
And it's been sanded and sanded and sanded. And the last time they came through, is they did the major sanding on it, and that's what they told us. You have 5 years, and Brady has done an excellent job of protecting that gym floor.
So, Madam Chair, it does need to be done. And before we get into a major safety issue or problem, it needs to be addressed as a safety issue.
Okay.
I feel like.
Good call. Safety's a huge issue.
So we need to know options, I guess, on what we can do. Now, did you mention that there were some floors that can be picked up and taken someplace else? I mean, you could lay like a rubberized or something on it, some different kind
That
of
was
a.
from the Summer Olympics.
Okay,
And
that was what you said. Somebody else mentioned a floor that could be done
I think
differently.
EY doesn't, one of the, like, you're one of them, that's how they do the floor down there, they actually bring it in.
Almost every single major college and professional team, their floors come in for the game and they come right back out.
Take them back out.
So I know it can be done.
so you leave the floor that's there.
It's just,
I have no
you
idea what the
X
option.
amount of money in your supplemental levy. And you told the voters, these are the 9 things we're going to address.
Yep.
Which one of those 9 things are you going to take off, or 2 of those 9, to do this gym floor?
Yeah.
It's a
That's
no-win situation.
That's the problem.
That's
yeah.
the problem.
We understand the need. It's the
money.
It's the money.
Yeah. But you're right. It is a safety issue that we're going to have to be addressing sooner than later. Because I don't want to ask Burley to borrow their gym. Just not going to happen.
No way.
We're not doing it.
No.
Yep.
Well, we could. They're borrowing our track right now. Their track's tore up, so they're using ours.
Oh.
Early high school.
Their new track.
Their whole track. I would have said no.
And your husband's on the Coweta County School Board.
Brady and Randy worked that out.
Oh. Okay.
Mr. Trinkle's probably trying to build bridges for later.
Yeah, he's right back there.
The lowest one. I remember, don't forget, the lowest one.
Yeah. Guy's thinking.
And he's right. It is about and that's why we say we know it's a safety issue. We've got to be just looking at what our options are.
Let's get to the next item.
So, yeah, Mr. Anxious over here really wants to talk about the propane tank at Asequa Elementary.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's a discussion item. Sorry, Michelle, but we have to talk about this. I know you do.
This has been a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when Johnson Control came in and tried to peddle their package, this was one of their major energy saving options. The fact that you're not buying propane at retail price, you're buying bigger amounts at wholesale. Mr. Miller, our assistant maintenance guy, got on the hunt and found us an 18,000 gallon propane tank in Pennsylvania. It's used, but a new one costs 30 grand more.
I thought there was one in Montana or Wyoming or someplace. Or did that one fall through?
No, it's in Wyoming. Then they send it to Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
And they ship
it
it.
has to
Oh,
be-
that's the problem.
Because it has a hole in it.
Yeah, it's 18,000.
The inspection is 12 grand. Bottom line, you will save, is it 59,000 a year?
Or more. It's, yeah, a little bit more than that.
Well, just one example. It was $2,900 for the Intermountain Gas last month for Hayburn Elementary. It was 13,000 over almost 14,000 for the propane for Asequa.
Right.
So you
Same
look at
schools.
the difference. Same schools, actually one's a little bigger. We're paying
We pay double.
double, well, more than double.
Right. And I didn't look at this year, but we pay double over
Yeah.
for the year.
Mr. Van Avery, I don't mean to, if you want me to talk or you can.
No, I'm just making sure
The
you're.
bottom line is this propane system will cost $190,000, $197
$200,000.
to set on a
Do I
slab
hear three? No.
and be plumbed to provide propane to Sequoia School. The advantage is that system will be paid off in 4 years due to the savings in the cost of propane. After that, it's a much better deal.
We investigated having Intermountain Gas run a gas line out to Asequa. It would cost $1 million to do that. From their point that's at 100 east and 100 north, just to go out to Asequa, $1 million.
And this tank, with the probability or possibility of Hayburn growing, would handle it.
Asequa.
Or I mean,
Asequa.
We're not going to disengage the 5 that are in the ground.
Okay.
That's kind of like a backup system. It's just the cost of, you can fill those tanks at 80%. So an 18,000 gallon tank gets
18,000. Yes.
80% of 18,000.
No,
Anyways, you have to bring in the big truck to get the wholesale price.
It's a semi.
And that's the push on my part because the savings will pay for the system.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, just make sure it doesn't have any leaks.
Yeah.
Yes,
they
sir.
are has no holes in it.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think they inspect it yearly.
They have a 5-year warranty on it for everything.
It comes on a skid, so they can come haul it off if it needs repairs. And we got them other tanks in the ground.
Is that the picture, the latest
They're
picture of
These
it?
are the pictures of. I don't know that it's the exact tank, but it'll show.
Yeah, let the board see it. I've seen it, but they.
Paint the mascot on it or something cool.
Well, trees around it would be nice.
Shrubbery or halyards.
So it'll have all the hookups and the skid,
Oh yeah.
and we'll have to put the bollards around it. No, we'll have to fence it.
Does that
Fence and shrubs.
does that affect our insurance? Or is there any hazmat
We checked with the
requirements?
fire department to see what we had to have and how far away from the road and the electricity.
Is there any extra insurance requirements required on that or anything?
I don't think so.
That's something we just addressed.
I can check.
What's that?
Insurance
Effect on
Any extra
insurance.
insurance requirements on
for having a
the whole
above
tank?
ground tank that big.
Just to
The fact that you're increasing your assets by $200,000 from an increase in
Sure.
premium. But I don't know
as
if
far
there's
as far as
hazard
liability.
clause or something.
Well, they have to put things around it, the barriers around it, and a big fence, so that you don't ever hit the tank. So I know that's part of the cost of why we have to put the border around it, to make make sure that no one runs into the tank or
Back
the
your car
tanker
into
trucker
it. Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
get it.
The state requires certain things.
Right.
You have to follow or you can't use it. So.
So, it's not something that we take action on, but is there a directive that we want to give? Do we can say we continue it and Michelle, you get to find the money or what?
But if you noticed on your little sheet, I got it in there.
The supplemental. With
Madam
that
Chair,
amount?
I think unless there's some major insurance issue that we're unaware of, I think this is something we ought to definitely move forward
Save
with.
that much money. I think
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
that's what I said. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's something we probably should have thought of a long time ago because we would have saved this much money already.
We've lost $1 million on over the years.
Yeah.
That'll take care of health insurance.
Yeah.
There's our gym floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's our building. Okay, so we say it's a no-brainer. Keep working on it.
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
It needs to be on.
Yep.
As an action item for next time.
Good.
An action item for next time that we vote on going ahead and spending money. Is that what you're saying?
As long as
She's got it planned out.
But as long as she's got the insurance.
Yeah, she's got it planned. So
I think
we don't have to vote on it.
Okay.
Because it's already.
You'll vote on the PO.
Yeah.
Vote on the PO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, does anybody have any questions on the department, administrator, or committee reports? I mean, we've kind of gotten a little bit of the facilities committee already. Anybody have any questions? Okay. We don't have any discussion on policies this month. We just have some to look at. What about Mr. Ramsey's superintendent report? You've been busy.
Yes, he has.
Madam Chair, the best time was last Friday from 9 to noon when I got to sit in on the interview committee for your FFA officers. You've got quality students, and I was very impressed.
Anything else you want to say?
That was the best part of that whole mess.
I also heard that from somebody that sat in on the senior projects, that they were.
Your mic is not on.
Sorry. I also heard from a individual that sat in on the senior projects last week and said how impressed they were with the kids in there, what they did and what they came up with and their ideas and what they're moving forward with. They were very, very impressed. So congratulations out there.
Anything else before we move to our action items? We had a letter in our board book from Michelle DeLuna about the budget hearing letter, and we do need to take action for having that on our June meeting for 2 separate budget hearings. They can take place consecutively or right after each other, but we just need to have this as an a motion so that we can go ahead and get this scheduled and meet the new regulations. That's the best way to put it, right, Michelle? Yeah. Okay. Then I would entertain a motion, unless you have questions first on this budget hearing. Her letter was pretty self-explanatory. I would entertain a motion that we accept the dates for the budget hearing as proposed in the budget hearing letter.
Madam
Move
Chair.
that we accept the letter for the proposed date for the budget hearing.
Okay. Motion for Mr. Parker.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Anderson. Questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. As Mr. Ramsey said on the one-time bonuses, he recommends we do it the same way as we did the previous one. Well, actually, we're not calling them bonuses, we're calling them premiums.
Premium.
So I would entertain a motion for acceptance of the recommendation for distributing the one-time premiums.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we accept the, how do I want to word that?
Recommendation.
The recommendation to distribute the one-time premiums.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Perez, second by Mr. Sukan.
Do we need the date listed in that, the one we're paying it out to? minutes.
Paid it out by on the
May payroll.
May payroll.
Yep.
Are you okay with adding
Yes.
that? Okay, so motion on the floor from Mr. Perez to give permission or give our okay to the May payout of the one-time premiums and done the same way as the last premiums that were done. Okay, you're okay with that, Mr.
Yes.
Sukan? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, motions. I was typing, I didn't hear.
One.
One, sorry.
Yeah, one.
One and then who?
Mr. Sukan.
Okay, sorry, I was typing as fast as I could.
All right. We had E-rate bids that we need to accept the lowest one. It's the lowest run. That was also in our board book. Does anyone have any questions? Does everyone understand what E-rate means to the school district? It helps us pay for some really important technology stuff.
Yes.
Then I would entertain a motion for acceptance of the E-rate bid as presented in board book.
Madam Chair, I propose that we accept the E-rate bid that is proposed to us in our.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Anderson,
Second.
second by Mr. Parker. Any further questions or comments?
I just want to make sure that we're clarifying. It's the one that's highlighted. The
Ednix.
Ednix is the one that we are.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
okay.
Yes. That is
That's my
one.
only question.
Okay, thank you. So with that question answered, I would ask for those in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I couldn't think of it.
We need to give our approval of the recommendation from the
RC.
DD or DRC?
DD.
DDRC Committee for the Expulsion of Student 3-30-22-1.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the recommendation of the DDRC on the expulsion of student 3-30-22-1.
Okay, motion by Mr. Sukan,
Madam Chair, second.
second by Mr. Perez. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. As we get to our policies, then we had some of them that have quite a bit of deletion and then a lot of just additions, making them either shorter, more concise. I think that the idea of holding over 1 through 5 and actually 1 through 6, is that what we agreed, or what we had talked about, or I had thought about?
That's okay, we'll have to.
Excuse me?
I thought it was 1 through 3, but we do 1 through 6.
Well, it's just the, oh, wait a minute, yeah. Because we didn't see, the attachment wasn't there for number 3.
Yeah.
Student records doesn't have very much change, and the inspection is short, and the retention is just, it hasn't been looked at for a while.
No, retention, there's been a couple of changes.
Oh, just a couple of changes, but yeah.
And the conflict of interest was an old.
That's the old one from 1976
Yes.
that we are just updating and reviewing.
Well, we're just reviewing, yes.
Okay. So, are you amenable with the idea of 1 through 3 we hold over?
I think so.
Okay, so we will hold policy 240.00 instructional materials selection, and then policy D250.20 library materials, and D342.20 student drug, alcohol, and tobacco. We will hold those for next time. As far as policy D380.00 student records, D860.00 inspection procedures, policy D872.00 retention of district records, and R142.00 conflict of interest. I would entertain a motion that we accept these as presented at this time.
Madam Chair, I'll move that we accept those policies read 4 through 7.
Okay.
As read for acceptance.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Anderson to accept 4 through 7 is read.
Second.
second from Mr. Sukan. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion for adjournment unless there's anything else that I forgot.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Sukan,
Second.
second by Mr. Parker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.